Hi, so this is a presentation of myself, Advocate Henghorn, about incapacity due to ill health, and I'm quickly going to talk you through some of the aspects that we're dealing with in these 11 slides. Right, so what is incapacity due to ill health? Incapacity due to ill health is normally when there is an injury in the workplace, and then also when there is also some ill health that is taking place. So it's not necessarily just people that are ill, but also people that have been injured at the workplace. So that's all normally the time that we deal with it. Also people that have mental illnesses and a lot of other aspects that we deal with in terms of incapacity in the workplace. The Schedule 8 of the Labor Relations Act deals specifically with how to deal with incapacity on the grounds of ill health or injury, and specifically dealing with the question of whether it is permanent or whether it is temporary. If it is permanent, then a person mostly have a provident fund, and you can let the person go via the provident fund, and you can then claim from the provident fund. The person might be claiming from that until they retire the day, which is normally age 60 or 65, and they will be paid an amount of 75% of the salary. However, if a person is temporarily ill, then they will be evaluated slightly different, because then it is only a temporary illness that is connected to that. So Schedule 811 of the Labour Relations Act deals with guidelines dealing with ill health or injury, and it specifically says that any person determining whether dismissal arising from ill health or injury is unfair should consider whether or not the employee is capable of performing the work. If the employer is not capable, or the employee is not capable, to the extent to which the employee is able to perform the work, and the extent to which the employee's work circumstances may be adapted to accommodate disability, or whether it's not possible, the extent to which the employee's duties might be adapted, and the availability of suitably alternative work. Specifically relating to all of these specific factors, the main question here relates to what are the alternatives to terminating a person's services. If there can be a different solution to terminating person's services, then that is what the Act basically prescribes. So why is it necessary to distinguish on this basis? The Labour Relations Act, a number of cases requires an investigation to be conducted, and the result of the investigation's alternative to dismissal must be sought. So you cannot just simply go in and start doing a disciplinary hearing related to incapacity in the workplace and decide that the employee services must be terminated, because you need to also determine what are the alternatives before you can do that. You also need to take into consideration whether there are some other places regarding zero tolerance in the workplace, and whether there is a provident or sick fund. All of those specific aspects might have to be taken into consideration. The question is also whether it is then specifically permanent or temporary incapacity that is taking place. The first thing to obtain is to obtain permission from the employee. That is the process. You cannot do an investigation without obtaining permission from the employee as to whether you can inspect their medical records. We have specific forms and documents that deal with it, Labour Info, and you can specifically assist us and ask us to assist you with that process, as well as investigation to chair investigation into and look for alternatives in your workplace before you can terminate a person's services. The main question first is whether an employee gave permission to inspect medical records or do medical evaluation. And similar processes that are already in place or that might be coming to play also in the future, apart from incarceration cases, is investigations based on poor performance, capacity due to an accident, accidents required from which needs to be completed from COIDA form, accidents that need to be reported within 30 days, deaths that need to be reported within 48 hours, and incapacity due to failed work permits. So foreign workers, those are the type of things that one needs to take into consideration. The new code of conduct also makes provision for incarceration to fall under this specific aspect, and one might feel that these are also other things that will come into operation, and that is also related to aspects such as incompatibility in a workplace, whether a person is able to fit in or not. It will fall under incapacity. The, the permission letter needs to be obtained from the doctor, and so you need to be able to send a letter to the doctor and say that here is the patient's confirmation that he or she might be able to provide you the medical records. Some doctors do not want to give it, but in terms of POPI and everything else, once you have permission from the employee to obtain those records and provide it, then you have access and you can be able to access those records, determine whether it's a physical, mental, or injury situation, and then you will be able to determine what action can be taken short of dismissal. If the employee fails to provide that specific information to you, then you might have to look at alternatives, such as in cases of long illness, absenteeism, and deal with other misconduct type of matters in the workplace. There's a notification that deals with a specific investigation related to these specific aspects. We've got, once again, a specific format that we use, and these are the points that we normally add in there, whether a company is capable of performing whether the employee is capable to perform certain duties in the company, and capable to perform those duties or not, has suitable alternative work. All those factors need to be taken into consideration as specified on the specific document. And only once that is determined can you say satisfactorily, right, that we've complied to that specific aspects. The nature of current job responsibilities, the period of absence, the seriousness of illness, and the possibility of securing temporary replacement or alternative employment is a factor that needs to be considered, as well as whether further steps or action may be appropriate in the circumstances. Should it be determined that such incapacity cannot be accommodated by the company, the employee services might be terminated. Once again, we have documents available for you for that. If you need assistance in that regard, please contact us and we can gladly assist you. That this basic discussion related to incapacity in the workplace. One of the questions that we had to deal with when we dealt with this matter was, for instance, what if an employer's premises does not make provision for employees that need wheelchair access in the workplace and they cannot continue to employ that person further? Then the question comes in, what must happen then? And the answer is that a lot of employers might be challenged in that respect with regards to the fact that if they are unable to make a reasonable provision or create alternatives in the workplace for it, and there's a lot of matters related to it, Standard Bank, University of Johannesburg, and other matters where employees were not properly accommodated with regards to disabilities in the workplace, then those type of factors can be discriminatory and regarded as victimizing against them. Right, so that is quickly handling the presentation regarding incapacity in the workplace. If you have any specific questions, please contact us and we can gladly assist you with those type of matters. Thank you very much.